Hey everyone, it's Jake and Jake's Metal Chat. Hope you're all well and welcome to episode 35 of my Metal Vault, where if you've been watching this series for a while, you know the drill. Bit exploring, showing you all pretty much all my favorite albums, ranging from heavy metal to thrash to death to black to doom to sludge to folk metal, you name it, all that excellent stuff. But for this episode, if you remember this guy here from one of my last chats, Chris on Crushing Sounds is going to be doing this episode with me, and I might do another collaboration with someone else or with him again if he's ever up for it. So how you doing,
Always.
Chris?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, I'm always up for more collaborations. Yeah, and who better to collaborate about than the mighty Metallica? I mean, what other
And
band do
of
you need?
course, Metallica. That's who we're talking about this evening. Well, yeah, evening 7 o'clock. Well, 6 minutes past 7. So we all know Metallica. Usually I talk about where they're from, but of course, I'll let Chris just say who the band is. The mighty Metallica. We're talking about the Cliff era of Metallica, as Chris said earlier before we started, the best era.
I mean, it just is.
It just is. Of course, these guys formed in 1981. It says Los Angeles, California, San Francisco. Obviously, they were in LA for a while, battling out with all those glam metal bands.
LA sucks, famously.
Yeah, but I was literally talking about this today when we were getting this episode done. That famous LA sucks, and James Hetfield saying we had absolutely no problem saying that. No problem. Of course, we can't. Before we get into Metallica, let's talk a brief history about the band before we get onto the albums. Do it a little bit differently for this one. Of course, formed in 1981, so they've been going for 30, no, 43 years.
Something, yeah.
40,
Oh,
I almost said
fucking long time.
33. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Never mind. Of course, the lineup is not the lineup that we know. They've obviously had members before that. So, first lineup of the band, obviously, is still the two original members in the band, James Hetfield on guitar and vocals, and Lars Ulrich on the drums. Those two have been in the band the longest, pretty much. Everyone's going to know this anyway, but just in case you're brand new to metal and didn't have a clue, Dave Mustaine was in Metallica before he formed Mega Dave. I mean Megadeth. Sorry, sorry, I had to get that out. But yeah, before he formed Megadeth, obviously he was on lead guitar. And then before Cliff Burton, the man that we are going to also discuss, as well as these albums and the band themselves, they had Ron McGovney on bass. Of course, wasn't in the band very long as in band fighting, mainly between him and Dave. If you watch any documentaries about
I
Metallica,
mean, yeah.
so he was on the No Life Till Leather demo, which I have heard on YouTube.
Not much gets talked about him these days. People always
No,
seem to forget about him.
no, yeah, no one talks about Ron. So everyone thinks it's Cliff. Cliff came after, but Cliff's been the most prominent one since they, started making albums and going on big tours and big shows and things like that. But yeah, obviously the lineup for that one was James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine, Rob McGovney, and Lars Ulrich. Obviously, uh, we all know about Metallica's history, Dave's antics back then, run the wrong way, so to speak. He left. And then, of course, they got the mighty Cliff Burton,
Hmm.
who was in a band called Trauma, I believe. Yeah, Trauma, which I haven't heard any of their stuff, to be honest.
No, no, I'm not familiar.
I'm not,
So,
it was obviously a band before that, joined the band, did shows, obviously, with Dave still in the band, and then things happened, kicked Dave out, and then he went on a bus. They got him on a bus back to wherever he came from to begin, get whichever state he came from in the first place. And of course, I'll talk about that in a different episode. But we're talking about Metallica because for these three albums, obviously, the lead guitarist that's been prominent on pretty much every single release is Kurt Hammett. And if you don't know this, but I know Chris is going to know this, anyone else that doesn't, he used to be in Exodus. He was mainly on the demos, of course. So yeah, I didn't know that. Like, I thought, oh, Kurt Hammer's always been the guitarist, but then I looked as okay, he was in Exodus.
Yeah, they like stole
Cool.
him from Exodus,
It's
basically.
like we're taking him and then probably like, Paul Bit off like, what are you doing? Don't do it.
It's fine. They got Gary Holt in the end. They were
Yeah,
fine.
Gary Holt obviously in the band from in the beginning as well, so they all knew
Yeah,
each other. So strong brotherhood right there. Of course, Metallica moved from LA to the Bay Area of California. You know, the Bay Area thrash metal scene,
famously, yeah.
famous famous Bay Area thrash metal scene. But yeah, let's crack on with these albums in question. Obviously, it's the Cliff era. Of course, the man is no longer here with us. He did die in 1986. Went on tour in Sweden, well, Sweden, Europe in general. But his legacy is left behind on these three albums. So the albums that we are talking about, the 1983 debut, Kill Them All. The 1984 album, Ride the Lightning. And of course, 1986's Master of Puppets. And fantastic albums. But let's talk about this one first. Of
Naturally.
course, obviously the debut, but kind of silly if I just went, well, no, let's talk about Master of Puppets now.
Yeah.
But yes, this album just kept hearing it over and over again at Black City Records very recently,
Mhm.
and doing a circle pit around some of the vinyl in the middle, just because it's one of those albums. Let's get the back of the album. So we got all the songs there. So hit the
Gloriously
lights.
simple in those days.
Yeah, just yeah. How many songs is on here? Like
10, is it?
10, about 10. And this is what I usually do on my Metal Vault episodes. Show the CD.
Remember
And of
those
course,
kids?
there's the band themselves looking, you know, it's very, very 80s.
Yeah, long before James Hetfield became a table.
Very much. Um, as simple as it gets in the book, the lyrics, songs, yeah, 10 songs. Chris was right.
I've got a list
Um,
up. I don't just know it from heart.
yeah, I was trying to think tens. I was like, 10. I was going to go like, nah, it's 11. Goes up to 11.
I think every reissue's got like bonus tracks on there as well. So
But
I think yeah, the
yeah,
original I think
luckily
reached
this one does not have any bonus tracks. So
pure,
I'm lucky
simple,
right
to the
there.
point.
Lucky right there. That's what you need. You just don't want it because I was listening to the second album, which we'll get onto in a minute. But yeah, this album just hard hitting, crushing. You know, the first song hit the lights, just how it starts off. Just
Yeah, one of the most like brilliant debuts for any band ever. It's like you think about like the best opening tracks for any band off their first album, so like this is their opening statement. You've got, I think the ones that come to mind for me is like Sick by Slipknot is a big
yeah,
one. But Hit the Lights by Metallica
hit the
is
lights.
such a commanding, in your face, over in under 4.5 minutes,
Yeah,
statement of intent, bang,
just bang.
Metallica, and it's
Then go,
incredible.
then go straight into the Four Horsemen.
One of my
Just
favorites.
yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks as well. It's just like that jigga on the guitar, the chugging, just
Is it credited in the, because I haven't looked at the CD liner notes for a while. Is Dave Mustaine still credited? Because he is everywhere else for that
don't know
song
if he's credited
specifically.
in this one, but should be. Yeah, let's show Four Horsemen quickly. Yes, he is credited
Good.
right there. Because he did write a lot of these songs.
Mm.
So
So the drop down bit in Four Horsemen apparently was basically Sweet Home Alabama.
that's what it's like. It's like joker. It's like obviously when it kicks like into when it gets really fast, and then like you get James's parts in the chorus, especially when he does these screams on pretty much a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Remember when James could scream?
When he can scream, can't do it anymore.
No.
Doesn't really do it anymore, does he? But on here,
Just
a heck of a lot of screaming,
yeah,
especially
it's
in those
very
bits in the
yeah.
course of the Four Horsemen
Hmm. Yeah, it's
when
very
he gets back in
raw
that chugga chugga
album.
chugga. It's a very yeah for 1983, very raw, and then it goes straight into yeah, Motor Breath. You know,
I always wondered if that is a reference to Motorhead or not, because
probably
I think it's like I don't
wouldn't
think
be
it's this one.
surprised.
I think it's a song later on, if I remember correctly, that is that's very reminiscent of like Ace of Spades, and of course Metallica are very much inspired by Motorhead, so it could well be a nod. Wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise me.
it wouldn't surprise me either because obviously that's one of their favorite bands. Of course, Diamond Head because they do that cover
Yeah,
of "Am I Evil,"
yeah,
which is cracking album, no cracking song. This is a cracking album, cracking song. Got
yeah.
so just exhausted, but yeah, going straight into like Motor Breath. That's a obviously when I being at Black City Records listeners, I'm just too busy just like going like
Yeah.
or doing a circle pit and making David laugh, and then jump in the fire.
Jump in the fire is so good.
That's such a. I think every song has got their own unique little
Yeah,
bit.
it's an
I don't know why I did that.
exceptionally yeah, it's an exceptionally well-paced thrash album, which spoiler alert, I don't think Metallica have been especially well-paced since the Black Album, really. So it was really interesting
No,
coming back to it's hard to listen to this album now, knowing what Metallica go, because I can only imagine because I'm only 28. I was nowhere near the heyday of this band.
I missed
But
the heyday.
I can't imagine what it must have been like to hear this for the first time when it came out, because it must have been
I can only
like,
imagine.
would people have known that something really special had just started with this? Because it's easy to imagine that now, but yeah,
It's
far cry
just,
from what would eventually happen to
I
Metallica.
mean, I'm 32, so I was born in the early 90s, so I missed the heyday
Oh,
of
that
that
era.
that era. The Black Album, and of course before that, and Justice for All. And then we get on to an instrumental,
Mm,
Anesthesia, Pauline Teeth, which has a fucking cracking bass solo from Cliff Burton. And I can't play stuff like that. And he's the reason I started playing bass a lot more. I can't, I'm not as good as him. If I could play that solo, mission accomplished for me. Just how it starts, just his finger picking work, his technique is just incredible on here. And of course, Lars's drums come in, which obviously complements it a lot more
mhm.
throughout the song. But just at the start, just what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, because obviously, famously at the beginning of the track, you can hear someone saying bass solo take one,
Yeah,
implying that this is all done in one take. You know, the cynical side of me wonders, is it really? But I could completely believe it because
I could completely believe that.
Cliff Burton was a monster of a bass player, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
really, really cool. It's obviously because he tragically passed away after album three, but it's amazing that they gave him this spotlight as early as album one, just to demonstrate just how brilliant of a musician that he was.
just
Yeah,
just
it's
incredible.
yeah, Metallica's one of those bands where if you could like read through their whole history and think that more than any other band, there's so many like divergent points where I go, I wonder what would happen if, like, what would have happened if Dave Mustaine had stayed in the band? What would have happened if Cliff Burton had not tragically passed away? But I think that is probably the biggest what if that Metallica fans ponder about 10 times a
Mm.
day. What would have happened to this band
What
had
is
Cliff
like the
not
what
passed
if
away?
scenario?
Yeah. But yeah, for what few what small section of Metallica we do have with Cliff Burton is extremely special, and I think he's such a big part of why these three albums are so good. His stamp is all over them,
It
and they're
stamps
all
all over. Like
masterpieces.
it's just his presence is there. Definitely with this one here, but anesthesia pulling teeth. I can when I hear that, I imagine him just doing his head banging because I've seen live footage of
Yeah,
him playing that one and him just head banging, even if it's like the short fringe and shoulder length hair or the really long hair that he had by the end of the third album. But
yeah.
yeah, him just head banging and because trying to think which tour it was I seen a video of, but he does that same one. He's just like that.
Yeah.
It's like I want to be that good, but I know I'm not gonna. If I practice, I might be 50%. I don't know.
Got to put in your 25 hours a day. You'll get there.
God, yeah, 25 hours a day playing bass. God, I did actually get back on my bass for. my own band, just obviously new lineup changes. But anyway, back to Metallica. Whiplash.
Oh,
Oh,
classic.
what a track! That's got to be one of my favorites on this album, along with "Hit the Lights," Four Horsemen, of course, the instrumental, and then the other tracks that we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
I love the solo after that, because obviously he doesn't say James doesn't say Whiplash after each bit.
Mhm.
It's like that instrumental bit, and then he goes Whiplash, and then you get Kurt's solo.
Yeah, it's great because I think a lot of people, myself included, to be fair, have often derided Metallica post Black Album for being a bit too like stadium rock, stadium metal.
Yeah.
But I always have to remind myself that back even in this album here, they were so good at like chanty lyrics that the whole crowd could join in on. Like you
Mm,
have Whiplash. The song's a bit later, the song a bit later as well, which has also got an incredible chorus as well.
mm.
They were always a big chorus heavy band. And I
Always.
don't think that they never shied away from that. And I think people forget that, to be honest.
Yeah, they took risks, and a lot of the time it did pay off.
Yeah, for sure.
On this album, it obviously this is just a
Mhm.
full on thrash album. Obviously from Whiplash we go into Phantom Lord.
Another one of Mustaine's, if I believe, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, I'm not gonna get the book out again,
Yeah, yeah, no,
but
people can check that.
if I remember correctly when I looked, it did have his name there, D
Sure.
Mustaine.
I'll get
I could
people
get the
commenting
book
down
out
below
again,
everything we're getting.
but yeah, that clocks in at 4 minutes 52 seconds. That's on because the longest song on here is actually the Fourth Horseman and clocking in at 7 minutes 8 seconds.
Yeah, nowadays that would be considered restrained.
Yeah, because the whole thrash metal bands that are doing that with long songs. Just to mention briefly, Cryptic Shift, they do long songs. So, but they're more like the really technical, weird side of thrash. But I
Yeah,
think like Voivod, but still really cool. But yeah, Phantom War, just another kick-ass track.
yeah. I mean, this album's just great.
The whole album itself is great. Then going straight into No Remorse, literally
Mhm.
just going straight in with the guitar, straight in with everything, and then
Um,
a solo by Hammett. He, well, there's a lot of guitarists that do like lead guitars, but he's to me, I don't know about you, still one of the best lead guitarists out there.
I have a love-hate relationship with Kirk Hammett, to be honest, because the
I think I
bestest,
have the same as well.
yeah, the Kirk Hammett at his best is one of the most inventive guitar soloists because he almost exclusively uses pentatonic, right? Which a lot of
Yep.
people like to mock. But in these first three, even for like 4 or 5 albums that Metallica did, he was so inventive with it. He could do so much with it. But in his newer outputs, like on 72 Seasons, for example, it feels much more like I don't know if he's run out of ideas, but it feels a bit more phoned in, and that's why I say
Mhm.
love hate with Kirk Hammer because I know he can be one of the greatest, and I feel like he
Yeah.
doesn't allow himself to do it anymore for whatever
Oh,
reason that is. But back here in this classic
back
era,
here,
yes,
1983.
he was
Yes,
one of the greats
one of
for
the greats here,
sure.
especially all the solos that he does, especially on Whiplash. That solo after James's
Oh, it's
Whiplash,
it's massive, it's
just
absolutely massive.
like how did he get these Where did he get these solo ideas?
How old were they when they did this album? Like
Um,
19, 18, 19, or something stupid like that?
yeah, well, I think all of them might have been in their early 20s by this point.
Even so, what the fuck have we been doing?
I don't know what. God, I wish I did an album this early in my music career,
If
but
only we were
I,
there in the 80s, we could have done thrash metal before
I
Metallica
didn't.
did.
I mean, I didn't do like a first proper album until like what 28. So there you go. These guys have done it better.
Well, I mean, it's only fair.
Of course, one of my all-time favorite, just thrash metal songs in general, just metal songs in general. Seek and Destroy.
Seek and Destroy, one of I think every
That
guitarist,
probably
one of their
gets your head banging.
first, yeah, one of every guitarist's first riffs they learn is the intro to that song.
Oh, yeah, I can.
It's
I know.
iconic.
I know. Yeah, I can do that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, 6 minutes 50 seconds long. because it's got a lot going in there. You got like solos, you got like power chorus solo, more solo. So it's just going back and forth.
Yeah.
Again,
Again,
and
and
a testament to Kurt Hammett for his solo work on
yeah.
this album for this song as well. Jeez.
And another massive chorus. There's a reason they still keep playing this song
Yeah,
live.
that's
That
such a
chorus kills.
yeah, literally when you hear it live, it's like seek and destroy. Of
Roy.
course, when they got Jason in the band around well, yeah, 86. Like later on in like 92, I've seen footage of him doing Seek and Destroy, and he just belts it out the park.
Jason was a phenomenal backing vocalist.
Oh
He
yeah,
threw
he should just
everything into it.
scream and bark into the microphone and just like yes. But yeah, James on here is what yeah, and just going like yeah,
But not in that kind of yeah,
but not in that
proper
like
yeah.
not like have Jason do it because they were like, you know what, let's let Jason do it.
Mhm.
And then of course the last song we have right here, Metal. Oh God, I am having a hard time right now. What's that again? Metal.
Metal Militia.
That's it. God, I know. I was reading it something else. Was I, I was gonna say like Metal Matilda or something stupid.
Metal Matilda.
Metal Militia. Yeah. God, pronunciation skills shocking on my channel.
Mhm.
But yeah, ends on that. Good closing track. No,
Yeah.
excellent closing track at 5 minutes and 11 seconds long. It's good that it tells you how long the songs are because some albums don't do that.
Yeah, that's the thing that I wish like CDs would bring that back, but they don't do that anymore. So, but everyone streams nowadays, don't they? And it just says so.
Just says there, but
Yeah,
here it's like it tells you. So from start to finish, his album's just
it flies by.
it's like
It's 50 minutes, but you wouldn't think it
you
was.
won't think no, because usually when you get an album like this, it's usually like under 35 minutes or something,
Well, I
under
mean,
40.
look at Rain and Blood. That's like what 27 minutes.
Yeah, because everyone was just
Yeah,
straight to
to be
the
that album though, you need a
everyone was
break.
just because everyone was just in your face.
Yeah.
This is in your face, but sometimes it gives you a bit of a break.
Well, yeah, as I say, it's extremely well paced. I don't think
That's what
it wouldn't work for 50 minutes if it wasn't. And I yearn for the days where they were able to do that. Well, where any band is, I think a lot of albums these days are too long, to be perfectly honest. If you watch a lot of the reviews on my channel, you'll know it's one of my most common complaints is this album is too long. Um, but when it's perfect, when it's 50 minutes and it's perfect, it's remarkable to listen to.
oh yeah.
That's definitely the case with this album.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely. And let's get the book out so it's not glaring on this case and I have to do it like that because my webcam has got a light on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who did the artwork. I don't think
Let's see if
oh,
I've
it
got
says
it.
in the book.
Let's see if I've got it up. Well, because of course it originally had a different cover, didn't it? But they weren't allowed to release it as metal up your
Yeah,
ass.
that's what I was gonna get to that. They were gonna call this metal up your ass.
But
Even
apparently Kill
James
'Em All
said
is
that.
fine.
Yeah, because James even said that when the album came out, when they played the live show, he held it up. He said, "We were going to call this metal up your ass," but the record label not, and he just threw that record out, and the audience song caught it in the end.
It was like it was going to be a dagger emerging from a toilet was going to be
You
apparently
can get the
that's
T-shirt,
apparently that's not allowed, but a bloody
but
hammer is
this
totally
a
fine.
hand, a hammer, and some blood is totally fine. So they called it "Kill Them All," and it is an iconic album
It's
within
yeah.
metal and thrash, in Metallica's history,
Uh,
which
I'm just seeing this now on the page I've got open. Apparently, in 1999, it became triple platinum, so which
blinking
is
heck.
incredible for a heavy metal band.
That's mad. Cover art was done by someone called Gary L. Hurd. Okay, he hasn't done a lot. He's only done it for Metallica. Oh, photographs as well as the cover art, and another one called the Rods. I think they're called. But
Okay, well,
not. I don't
if you're gonna have a small legacy, at least make it fucking Metallica.
make it Metallica. Which then, of course, Metallica obviously had this debut. Came out in '83. Yeah, because it says it recording studios It's like May 1983. It's been recorded.
May, does that say May 1983?
Yeah, right down there.
Interesting, because the website I've got says July. We might have
Well, it was released in July. It's been recorded around
I
that time.
see. Got you.
So
Got you.
it was
Yeah.
released on the
25th
25th
I've
of
got written
July,
here, yeah.
1983. And
Yeah.
then that brings us on to 1984 and another cracking, iconic album. Obviously, at the end of the video, we'll say our conclusion on the albums, all three of them at the same time. And that comes into 1984's Ride the Lightning. And I
I
said that
mean,
very kind of operatic, which
I
it's
mean,
not.
just to carry on the conversation about artwork, I mean, just simply one of the greatest album arts of
That's really
all
cool.
time.
You
It's
know,
so simple but genius.
and of course the logo, obviously the logo kind of changed from that to that,
Yeah,
and it obviously it blends well with the cover because obviously it's blue and white up here and blue and white over there. And of course it did it like the last one. It's got the length of the tracks and produced
it's
by Metallica.
not the last time it will be
Not
produced
the
by
last time.
Metallica.
Not the last time. Not the last time. There's the CD, which has got the logo that you see on Kill Them All. Band pictures. So there's Cliff there, just with his Rickenbacker bass.
Always Rickenbacker.
Yeah, had that. He had another brand of bass, which I'm trying to find, but I can't find it. But of course, oh, that band picture. There we go. I always like showing these.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a long lost part of collecting music now. Is like
Yeah,
getting the sleeve and the booklet and all that.
yeah,
Young people don't get it these days.
you just don't know. Not really. No, some albums like Blind, it's not a band picture at all. It's just crazy artwork, which is always cool. But I like to see band pictures like
Yeah,
one
exactly. I
more
want to know.
time.
I want to
This
know who it is
I'm a sucker for old band pictures.
with the older '80s hair, which I refuse to let go of either. So
Yeah, the old 80s set. Yeah, you can just you can just see it right there with like James and Kurt and Lars. I think Cliff was the only one that had like the curtain look.
sure.
Everyone else either didn't bother or couldn't grow curtains.
Yeah, I don't dare straighten my hair anymore. It goes down to my ass cheeks.
I mean, I got an undercut, so yeah. Which again, going back to Jason, he had an undercut.
Yep.
Now this one
Yes, right
follows
the
on
lightning.
from Kill Them All, and my God, what an album!
I
It's
mean,
got a bit more melodic
mm.
down the line. Still
Oh
got
yeah,
that
yeah.
thrashy element in there, but
It's the scope from one album to the next is truly incredible. Like these songs have got so much more going on. Uh, I think Kill 'Em All was a perfect example of how you do a really simple yet brilliant debut. Whereas this, they just take everything up a notch. It's faster, it's more grand, it's more emotional, it's more
mm,
epic. Everything is just bigger and better. And again, pacing wise, it's shorter than the first album, so the pacing is
yeah,
still incredible.
yeah, because that clocks in at what 47 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's non-stop. This album, there's not a, I mean, I mean, there was no sleepers on Kill 'Em All, but especially not here. This is an album you
no,
can play front to back. I think there's only one song which the band don't like themselves, but we'll get to that.
we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I heard it again this morning because I was a moment. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this with Chris. I thought let's listen to Ride the Lightning again. I heard it again like this morning. I was like, it's like when I first heard it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not that
It's
so much.
aged brilliantly.
It's 1984. So this album, it's 2024. So this came out in July, 27th of July, 84. So when it reaches that day, it's this album's going to be 40 years old,
Fucking hell.
nearly 40 years old, and it still holds up. Yeah, nearly 40 years later. So you start off with Fight Fire with Fire.
Gotta love that
My
intro.
God, the intro to that is just immense. Just nice start to the song, great start to the album, which just that James's bit where he goes like fight fire with fire. Like,
Mhm.
what? You can easily get someone like a death thrash metal band covering that, like putting death metal vocals over that. I
Oh yeah, for
definitely
sure.
heard that
It's a
when I heard it.
heavy fucking song.
It's a heavy song, really clocking in at 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Like I said, with the last one, it's got the length of the songs, which is
Nice.
always good because I think albums rarely did that back in the day.
Mm. Well, they certainly don't do it now,
They
but
don't do it now because obviously we've got Spotify and
all that ghastly shit.
all that ghastly stuff. But then I use Spotify for the gym. There you go, and for the walks.
I use it for professional means and nothing more.
Yeah, I use it for listening to music and checking out new bands, like professional means, and nothing more. And then that goes into the title track, Ride the Lightning. How that starts off, that intro, that do 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 do, that
Mm.
bit. 6 minutes and 36 seconds long. A
So
long,
that's yeah, that's one of the longer ones, but there's
one
a
of the longer
couple
ones.
couple longer ones I think than
Yeah,
that.
of course, the last track we'll get to in a minute. That's the
Yeah, yeah,
longest one. But yeah, just how that starts off, and then with the intro, and then it goes with that with the chuggy like that chuggy open power chord bit, and then the chorus. Just James's vocals on that, just when he hits the chorus bit, incredible.
yeah, absolutely.
And obviously, Kurt's solo work on here still top notch. You know, love his stuff on early days of Metallica, the Cliff
Mm.
era of Metallica,
Yeah.
and obviously Cliff's bass work.
Oh, I mean, we're gonna get to a highlight of that in the next track.
Next track, next album, yeah, next track, and of course, For Whom the
Ah,
Bell Tolls, which is
my
actually the first song
God.
I ever learned by Metallica from.
It's yeah, it's definitely one of the people ones that people gravitate to.
Yes, so I can play that whole song from start
Nice,
to finish.
nice.
I like doing the intro bit. Well,
Yeah, oh
else
yeah.
the bell, and then it goes dun 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 dun, and then do 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 do. It's like
I can't imagine what it must have been like to hear this for the first time because of course he had Kill 'Em All, which is all thrash, and then the first few tracks of this album, and then bang, For Whom the Bell Tolls is like stomping, thudding, epic. I love that chugging, descending riff we get before the first verse. It's amazing.
just
It's
Cliff just coming in there with like
yeah, this
not a solo as such, but it's you could sort because he does it. He's done it live with this song. He done a solo first, and then he goes straight into that, and he just
yeah.
adds little bits. And it's like, but yeah, his bass work on it, especially after that bit where he just did a dum dum dum,
I love that bit. That bit is
and then it gets into the
genius.
guitars later on, and
Yeah.
the whole song just carries very well.
Yeah. Again, you wouldn't know it's 5 minutes because
I wouldn't.
it doesn't really move around too much, but the
No,
strength of that hook is so good that it just works.
it just works very well. And obviously, after those chunky bits, and it gets into like I think it's either James or Kurt doing that little solo bit.
Pretty sure it's James,
It
but I
might be James
could be wrong about that.
because James is not really much of doesn't really do solos as such. It's more Kurt.
He does yeah you can normally tell when it's James because it's well there's also that tremolo pentatonic stuff.
It's more.
Generally if it's more mournful and melodic it's normally James,
It's
but
normally
there are exceptions to that obviously.
our section. Yeah, and then it gets into that if that you get that long bit with the power chord written, and there's that dun, 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 dun. It's like
That chorus hook,
the
yeah.
chorus. I love that chorus. When it just kicks in, it makes you want to just makes you want to bang your head to it.
Yeah.
Another great head banging track,
Oh, yeah, definitely one of the best.
one of the best. And then it gets a little bit more melodic
I
with
ad-
Fade to Black.
I adore this song. This
I love this song.
might be one of my favorite songs of all time.
Love the intro with the like little orchestra bit, and then like acoustic guitar comes in, and then you get Kurt's solo coming into it, and then just that beautiful bit of melodic element, and then you get James's vocals. Almost makes you want to just it's like want to well up at some points, but you know,
Yeah, it really is. It's one of their most emotional tracks they've ever done. I mean, given the subject matter, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But this song just goes through every single thing that Metallica do right. They got the mournful stuff, they got the incredible solos. There's a chugging bit before the last solo.
Yeah,
There's the incredible core, incredible vocals, incredible lyrics. This song has just, I mean, it's not thrashy, but if you
actually,
park that for a minute, it's got everything else Metallica do all in one package, and it's genius. And it's only 5 minutes,
it's only
five
five.
minutes and a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, it's like 6 minutes and 56 seconds long. So that's a pretty long track, and it is. I mean, I got a lot of favorite Metallica songs, but this is one of my all-time favorites from them, and I'm
Yeah,
from this album. Which brings us to the next one, Trapped Under Ice.
I'm gonna go on record. I think this one's underrated.
Yeah, it doesn't get talked about very much, and I heard it again right after Fades About. Obviously, listened to it this morning. How it starts off with that intro, and then it's just why doesn't this get talked about again?
I honestly don't know. I think it just gets overshadowed by side one of the album because side one is just back to back classics, and then you get to side two and you got this, and then the next song, which kind of slept on a little bit. But I think this has got a awesome thrashy chorus. This song could have been on Kill 'Em All if you ask me, and it would fit right
Yeah,
in
it
alongside
would.
all that. Maybe that's why we've been talking about it enough. It might have felt like a bit of a regression, but I think it's an awesome song.
It is a proper proper belter of a song. I use that
Yeah.
word quite a bit, and definitely shows with the guitar work, the obviously Cliff's bass work, obviously all the stringed instruments. Should I say guitars, bass, the drumming, you
It's
know,
Lars.
it's Lars, but especially I think Lars's drumming is best on these three
Yeah,
albums I'm talking about.
his drumming is super solid.
Yeah,
Not especially flashy, but it's bang on for what it needed
it's
to be.
bang on and it's to the point, you know,
Yeah,
absolutely bang on, which goes into from Trapped Under Ice to Escape.
the one that the band have said is one of their least favorite songs they've
Yeah,
ever done.
they
It's
never liked it.
I kind of get why the chorus is almost like a major
Yeah,
melody, which I guess they thought didn't fit. But nothing wrong with a bit of
no,
major.
nothing wrong with it. I can see why they didn't like it. I
I
kind of
g-
like the track.
I agree. It's probably the chink in the otherwise impenetrable armor of this album, but it's still a decent song.
Yeah, it's still a decent song to listen to. I like it. I'll put it on again if
I don't skip it.
I won't skip it. I mean, for my radio show, I'll probably put this song on, and people are like, "What are you putting this on?" I was like, "Because it's an early Metallica song. Shut up." Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Doesn't need
And
explanation.
it don't need no explanation. And here's one of my other favorite tracks,
Yeah.
apart from Fight Fire Fire, Ride the Lightning, Film Bell Tolls Fade to Black, Creeping Death. That intro, how it starts off
That
with
intro's amazing.
everything that the intro, and then it just one guitar, and then you hear Cliff's bass part, and then just the whole song itself, especially that bit where it's just like them going die, and then especially when you hear that song live, it's just nuts.
Yeah. I'm sure you've watched their Metallica 1989 Seattle
Oh
live and
man,
drinking. When this song comes on, it's unreal. You don't see concerts moving like that these days.
no,
It was
never.
absolutely, and not a single smartphone in the air,
No, no.
which is
Well, obviously being 1989,
yeah,
you know,
but simpler times. But no, yeah,
simpler times.
this is one of their best choruses ever. I
Oh
love I love the lyrical content as well. I love the
yeah,
subject matter. It's
obviously
really really
do with
cool.
like Egypt, the pharaohs,
Mm.
and
Well,
when I think that the
the
Ten
creeping death.
Commandments, yeah, the Ten Commandments and all that. That's what I was thinking when I heard it. Obviously, when I pitched it, I pictured more the animated film Prince of Egypt than
Yeah, same.
the Ten
Yeah,
Commandments with
with the
Charlton Heston.
yeah, Ray Fiennes as the Pharaoh.
Ray finds the pharaoh. Like,
What a film.
I need to watch it again because obviously it's a film from my childhood. But yeah, I love this. James in that bit where he's like the "die by my hand," he's commanding so much presence in that
Yeah,
song.
yeah, for sure.
And then
Such a good bridge.
yeah, great bridge, Kurt's solos, especially the
One of
one
my
back near the end where he's
yeah,
like,
it's definitely got one of my favorite solos that Kirk's done.
oh, one of his best, I think.
It's really fun one to play as well. Very, very, and that rising like triad he does near the end is fucking sick.
It's
It's
just
really, really good.
yeah, definitely his solo in his guitar work on this song just incredible. Which then comes on to the last song, the instrumental, "The Call of Cthulhu,"
Oh, excuse me. Uh, yeah, I mean,
which
talk
is the
about,
longest song on this album.
I think longest song they've done up to this point,
Yeah,
even.
8 minutes 52 seconds.
Yeah, it's talk about epic. My
It's an
God.
epic. That's what I think we can all say about that track. It's just an epic sounding track, and I think the only longest song they've done, really. I think
I presume up to this point, yeah.
up to
I
this
don't think
point
that,
until
yeah,
later on, which I might discuss in a future video. I don't know yet, but another absolute banger of an album. It
one
is
of the
excellent,
best.
one
One
of
of the
the
best.
best, and for all the reasons we just said, you know, absolute. Just I say absolute a lot on my channel, and I need to stop. But
Absolute metal chats.
absolute metal chats and two
Sponsored
monumental
by Absolute
albums.
Vodka.
Two two monumental albums here, and now on to the last one, the last of the Cliff era. Of course, the last one before he tragically lost his life. 1986's, and people have asked me what's my favorite Metallica album. I can never choose. Sometimes it
Yeah.
alternates, but this has got to be one of my favorites. Master of Puppets.
I mean, yeah, it's
Look at it.
definitely for me. It's virtually the flip of a coin on what my favorite Metallica album is, but normally I say this one.
It's just.
And
Before we get onto the songs, is the back.
yeah, I know we've talked quite a lot about artwork so far, but I genuinely think this is might be the best album artwork ever made.
Oh yeah,
It's
it is.
genius. It's
See you again.
genius.
Yeah, let's get it up before I show the pan pick. But look at that.
So every time you look at it, you notice something different. You got the crosses, you got the strings, you got the hands, you got the dog tags. There's new stuff to see every time you look
Yeah,
at it.
yeah,
It's
I've done that with
brilliant.
albums like didn't know that before.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course,
And there they are.
like pan pictures there. If it like camera will focus, there we go. And there's one up there, of course, one of the last pictures to have Cliff on with his trademark wearing a hell of a lot of denim.
Yeah.
He was known for wearing denim, as far as I knew. The others kind of wearing denim, but no, Cliff wins.
No white leather pants. We're not in that era of Metallica yet.
Nope, Aaron, I don't know why you would wear white leather pants anyway.
Because when Lars Ulrich says so, you do it.
Yeah, we don't listen to Lars.
Sit down,
With
Lars.
some lyrics. We kid, of course, but you know it's Lars.
Doesn't know himself.
There's some more pictures, and I think there's one of Cliff. Yeah, flipping us off
Flipping your live off as we all deserve.
as we all deserve, or he's probably flipping off people that we generally don't like in this world. But of course, his bass work on here, my God, when we get to that all important instrumental. But let's start off with a song that has a really cool intro, and then
Yeah.
it just hits you right in the face. Battery,
Battery. It's an
just
incredible album opener.
album opener, just how with that intro with the acoustic guitar, and then you get the drums, the guitars, the bass, and then that tremolo bit, and then just especially when I heard the 1980 live version of it.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
That,
It
I
just
would
doesn't.
I can imagine when I watched it, I would imagine myself in the mosh pit, just
Yeah.
moshing to that and
It,
then
it
being battered.
yeah, it just doesn't stop this song. I mean,
Unintended.
any any guitarist will tell you that when they try to learn this song, it's like it just
I
you
can't
need the stamina of
I
a
can't do
god
it.
to the stamina of James and Kirk really to play through this whole fucking thing because it's all guns blazing for 5 solid minutes.
It's yeah, 5 minutes and 10 seconds of just non-stop brutality. And I don't say that very much for like for like thrash metal, but well, it's gone as we went a bit farther away from thrash into what they started becoming, but still a bit thrashy here with this song. This song it will just bat you in the face. Pun intended, like I said, battery. Because it's just one of those songs, especially because I tried singing it before. How James sings is like nope.
Yeah.
It's like and the solo work obviously on pretty much every song here. which goes into the title track and one of my favorite songs again, Master of Puppets, clocking in at 8 minutes 38 seconds. That's the longest one on here because the second one is with the instrumental, which we'll get onto in a minute. And my God, how that starts off.
It's probably my favorite song of all time.
Oh, one of mine.
It the e- ev- every 30 seconds is a new hook. It's just incredible. This was the song I actually played as an audition to get into music college, and I got in. So I very
Oh,
much appreciate the existence of this song.
yeah, we all do.
It is a masterpiece. No one will ever do anything like it again. It
Oh
was,
no. If someone could
uh,
try,
yeah,
but it's not going to live up to what this song does.
it,
Because you got just another word I don't very use very much, bombastic playing.
but it really is.
It really is because just the guitar, the bass, the drums, James's vocals, just again demanding a lot of presence there, and it is demanding because it's right there in front of you.
Yeah, the best chorus ever made.
The
It's
chorus, and then after the solos is that bit with the chugs and music, dun dun dun, and of course let's briefly just say why a lot of people know of Metallica and this song is because of Stranger Things
I
mainly.
mean, I think it was a great scene. I
It's a
mean,
great. No, I love that scene, and obviously when I said Master Puppets, I thought that bit.
well, yeah, it picked me up because I don't want to go off on a tangent here. I thought the last season of Stranger Things was rubbish, but I really loved that scene.
Yeah, that scene
It was awesome.
was awesome. Just hearing Master of Puppets on a BC Rich guitar. How metal is that?
I love the fact that if you look at the date of when that episode is set, he would only have heard that song like 3 weeks prior or something, so he learnt it
Yeah, because it would
really
have came out
quick.
a few weeks before those incidents in that series.
Yeah.
But still, it's good. It's good to know that there's new fans coming into
Oh
Metallica.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Definitely,
definitely.
people
And
like, oh, I heard
starting
this song because of this.
Yeah, and starting with a good track as well,
It's a good
not
track.
like Fuel or something. Not that there's anything wrong with Fuel, but you know.
Nothing wrong with that. That's later. That's like later in their career. We're talking about the cliff era of their career,
You keep
and
reining
this
me in, and I just want to go off on
they
a
keep room and
massive
they keep
tangent.
pulling me back in, and and then yeah, because obviously after the second bit of the chorus, it goes into that melodic bit, and then I think it's James doing the solo. Is it James? I think it's James doing the solo. Or is it Kurt doing it?
Do you mean the dual solo, the dual
Yeah,
harmony
the dual.
solo?
Yeah,
That I'm pretty sure is James.
yeah. I think
Live they harmonize, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Yeah, because there's another bit after the harmonizing bit. I think it's just it might be James on his own. I don't, or it might be Kurt. I'm trying to think because I'm
I
you can
think it's
you can
James.
guess who does what type of solo
Yeah,
work.
yeah. People let us know down below if you know.
Let
I'm
us
pretty sure
let
it's
us know. I'm
James.
pretty sure it's James, but I know the last solo after the master bit,
Yeah,
that's Kurt obviously
yeah.
because he's hitting
One of
that
his
whammy
best.
bar hard.
Yeah, one of his best solos for me.
But
It's flawless. It's so good.
yeah, that bit that end bit of the solo where he's got the whammy bar there. That last bit,
All those bends.
that
It's
that
incredible.
that bit is just it's chilling and heavy at the same time. Very chilling and heavy. And then that goes on to track number three, the theme that should not be. Another great song.
They damn near went invented I don't know what kind of subgenre this would be. It's not Doom, but
It's not
um
doom as such,
it's
but
nutty and ballsy as all heck to come off the back of Battery Master and Puppets with this. It's kind of like a Foam the Bell Toll situation where they bring it right down. But it really
yeah,
works.
just picturing it again, yeah.
Yeah, and it really, really works.
It really does work, because it's like I said with Metallica, they took a risk on certain albums and 50%, like 50, there's 50, it's 50-50. Sometimes it pulls off, sometimes it doesn't. It pulls off here, I
Mhm.
think,
Massively,
and
massively.
massively pulls off because if it didn't, like some like nope, skip. It's like
So I want to get
like
to sanitarium, damn it.
and that gets into Welcome Home Sanitarium.
Sanitarium, beautiful song.
Beautiful song.
Absolutely massive.
quite melodic to begin with, and then it gets heavy, and then obviously gets to James saying, "Leave me alone," back to that melodic bit, and then God, it's quite emotional song to be honest with you, like
Yeah,
Fade to Black.
yeah, it's one of the I get one of the most solid like trajectories a song that they've taken because Fade to Black starts minimal and then ends big. This kind of goes starts small, gets big, and then comes
Small,
back down again really, really
it's a roller
seamlessly.
coaster. So
Yeah, I can't remember many other times in their career where they do that. Because normally they start small and get big again. Like one, for example, does like the Fade to Black structure. This is much more its own thing, and it really stands out to me in their catalog because of that. And I don't know, maybe I wish they do it again, or maybe just
uh,
leave this as it
I'd
is.
love to hear another song like that again
Yeah.
because I think now rarely they don't really do songs like that anymore. A little bit shit, but it's definitely one of those songs that I mean I could put this on when I'm on a walk and just lose myself in it. It's one of those songs.
Yeah,
And then we
definitely.
go on to Disposable Heroes,
Great. I love this
which
one.
is another 8 minute song. So the longest one out of them is obviously the title track. This one's 8 minutes and 14 seconds. The other one after the next track after that one, which is the instrumental, is 8 minutes and 12 seconds. But let's talk about Disposable Heroes.
Yeah.
Just again, another cracking
Very,
tune.
yeah, a very, very simple chorus.
Of course,
It's very chanty again. We're back to chanty Metallica. But that's why it works. I mean, this. I mean, let's be real. James's lyrics have never been 10 out of 10.
no, they've always
To
been
be,
like sometimes like a solid nine or maybe like a not I don't want to say minuscule because I don't want to insult the man.
yeah, it's like on this chorus, it's like okay, the lyrics in the chorus, you will do what I say when I say back to the front. It's nothing that deep,
So it's
but
like
he
sometimes it'll be
sells
like a
it.
nine, it'll be like a 7.5 or something, or
Yeah. Yeah, but my point is he sells it
he sells it though.
really, really
That's what
well.
makes it work.
Yeah,
It's with when he does like lyrics, he sells it really well,
yeah,
and you forget that he doesn't like sometimes he doesn't write very good lyrics, but
but yeah, they don't do subtlety very well.
they don't do subtlety very well. What band does?
No, of course not. But the point is, if you're not going to do subtle, sell the balls out of it, and it
Sell the
will
balls out
work.
of it like
And
there and then.
this song's a very good example of how
Very,
you sell it.
but yeah, definitely just oof, right there. And then there's Leaper Messiah. Let's say Messiah,
Messiah.
which is again another cracking track.
Yeah, great riffs in this one,
Great
especially.
riff. Some good solid, great solid riffs in there. Um, yeah, well, that's
I feel
one
like
piece.
yeah, I'm just going to be repeating myself at this point because this
No, that's
album is
what I
just
do as well because I'm just
this
because
album
there's
is
sometimes
just.
I pick up albums like I haven't heard this in quite a long time,
Mhm.
so I'm literally just gonna keep these CDs out and just play one after the other.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's
I
play
think
some like classic Metallica.
yeah, definitely. I think side two on this album is kind of its own beast. These four songs especially suit each other extremely well. I think it was. I sometimes wonder what it might be like because you got Thing That Should Not Be, which is a bit slower, and you got Welcome Home, which has got the weird trajectory. Would it have changed the album much to maybe put one of those in side two rather than both of them? But obviously, I don't want to mess with the classic. I'm sure they knew what they were doing.
You knew what they were
But
doing.
yeah, side two of these four songs back to back definitely feel like one big cohesive package because they all bring the heavy riffs, they all bring the thrash, and then of course the next track, the instrumental, is epic.
It's epic and one of my all-time instrumentals ever, Orion,
Yeah.
which has an incredible, yet another incredible bass solo from the master himself, Cliff Burton, and just it all balances very well in there.
Yeah, it's a great
It's
showcase of all three of the string players for
all
sure. Probably more
string
so
player.
than anything they've ever done.
Yeah, it's like how it starts off. You get like the boom, the bass, and then you get the guitars coming in after that, and then you get the solo in there, which is just amazing. Then it slows down, gets a bit more don't want to keep saying melodic, but it's that word with Cliff's little interlude, little part there, do
Yeah.
do 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 do, and then you get the solos in there, and it's just, and then by the end it kicks back into that heaviness again. It's yeah, looking at this track now, it's going on my gym playlist,
Nice. Where
especially for like
everyone
when I'm
was.
on the treadmill. Is it's a running song, it's a running song, and also a walking song.
True.
So, but then someone will be like, "No, I'll power walk it," but then then I'll just do something a bit daft and just stop when it's crisp, like do 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 do. Because
Where's my
again,
bass?
some of Cliff's best work is on this album. I mean, his bass work on the last two are phenomenal. On here, they're just popping and right in your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, for sure.
And then that brings us to the last track on this album, Damage Inc. Another, like with the other ones,
Another.
obviously we had Metal Militia and Call Cthulhu, like for each of their albums,
Yeah,
great
yeah.
ending track. This one, another great ending track to end the album.
Yes, it's a solid does everything right that the rest of the album does right to see us through to the end basically and doesn't overstay its welcome as well. I know I think because in Ride the Lightning of course Call of Cthulhu ends, which is fitting because that album is epic and it needed an epic outro. This album is all about it's kind of like Kill 'Em All where it's shove you in your face, but it's much more purposeful than Kill 'Em All. It's a lot more I don't want to say structured, but there's a bit more nuance to it.
Mm.
So this song is a good ending for this kind of album for sure.
This album, and again, like I said, Cliff's bass work on it is monumental on all of it albums, and obviously after this album, of course, they went on tour, which again I have mentioned. Cliff tragically lost his life on tour, but he might not be here. He may not be here anymore, but his legacy lives on these three albums.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we've mentioned before, this is the best era of Metallica.
yeah,
And
yeah,
why is
definitely.
that? Because of all the things we just said, even though we
Yeah,
repeated ourselves. But the solid 80s album, early 80s when like obviously 83 with Kill Them All, 84, Ride the Lightning, and we getting closer to the late 80s with Master of Puppets. Overall conclusion on these albums?
I mean, I don't think it can probably be it can't be overstated how heavy metal would not be what it was were it not for these three albums. Because you know, you have over in the UK, heavy metal kickstarted with Sabbath, Maiden, Priest, and whatnot. America, heavy metal was starting to kick off, but what really shoved it into overdrive, in my opinion, was Kill 'Em
These
All,
Kill Them
and then
All,
Ride the Lightning,
Ride the
and then
Lightning,
Master
and
of
then Master of
Puppets.
Puppets.
It's kind of like if you know every metalhead can sort of trace their roots back to these
Yeah,
albums. They
this
are
is where my
incredible.
roots started with metal. Obviously, I had other things in between that, like obviously I had like Slipknot and bands like that in
Mhm.
between Metallica and Pantera and Slayer, and yeah, mine was a bit of a mix. But Metallica was one of those bands that was part of my metal journey.
Yeah,
And these three albums, I'll never get rid of these.
yeah.
You can pay me all the money in the world to get rid of these. I won't get rid of them. And obviously, it has one of my favorite bass players of all time. And he's the reason I started playing bass a lot more. I'm not, again, I'm not going to be as great as him because his bass work on all three of his albums are just completely insane and well structured. But I can learn that well structuredness from his bass playing and
Yeah.
employ it in my own band, which I'm going to do from now on. And so, overall conclusion, all three of these albums, if I can pull these up, oh, that worked.
That works.
All monumental to 80s metal in general. And I say this about every single album I've said so far in this series, the all timeless masterpieces. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All timeless masterpieces. I don't think anything can come close to
Yeah, I mean,
half of these.
I rag on Metallica's newer stuff, perhaps a bit unfairly at times. But I
Yeah, I'm
think
a bit like, yeah.
sometimes I wonder, like, would I be as hard on them now if these albums didn't exist? Because it
Yeah,
always
that's the
it's
thing.
it's always felt like they've been trying to chase the greatness of these albums ever since. Then again, probably every band has been
Yeah,
because they're so good.
I think they tried to do that with before 72 season. I think they tried to do that with Hardwire of Self Destruct, but didn't really pay off too well.
I've come round to Hardwired, I must say, but that's a
Well,
story
yeah,
for
the
a
songs on there I'm
story
like
for
definitely
so,
Kill 'Em All vibes, definitely
yeah.
this, definitely that. And then there's 72 seasons, which kind of was
Oh,
a mix of maybe little bits of all three here. Maybe more and Justice and Black Album a bit,
that's a
maybe.
story for another day.
That's a story for another day, but we'll let you do your retrospective on Metallica. For this one, we'll just talk about the best era of their entire career. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
when Jason came in the band, obviously, and Justice for All didn't have his bass on it, which is a story for another day.
yeah.
Until the Black Album, they actually got his bass in. But Cliff, he's missed. He will continue to be missed. He was only 24 when he died. Too young, to be honest with you. But like I said, his legacy lives on in these three albums. So one more time, Metallica, Kill Them All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets. And that is it for the end of my Metal Vault with Mr. Chris Taylor of Crushing Sound. And do be sure, I did say in the chat when I had him on, be sure to check out his channel, description below. He will be doing a retrospective on Metallica at some point. We don't know when yet.
It's going to be quite the meaty video.
It'll be a meaty video. It'll be a lot longer than this because obviously we're only talking about three classic, and I mean classic, excellent, phenomenal, monumental masterpieces. Don't know why I did that, but
Well, yeah, all encompassing.
all encompassing of encompassing all three of these albums. If you're brand new to metal, and I've said this in my series so many times before, if you're brand new to metal and you want to start, don't want to go straight into the rabbit hole with death metal and black metal, start with these. Start with the first three Metallica albums. Doesn't matter where you start. You can start with Kill Them All. You can start with Ride the Lightning. You can start with Master of Puppets. It doesn't really matter as long as you start somewhere. Some might
Course.
say, I start with Van Justice. That's totally fine as well.
Yeah, plenty of people start with the Black Album as
I
well,
mean,
which again, is, if Black Album's good,
it's
these are
good,
better.
is it? But I think, and Chris will agree, these three are better. These three are the best.
Oh yeah,
These
easy.
three are the best. Someone might say. But then if someone argued with that, I'd be like, I'm sorry, what's wrong with you? Are you arguing with that
uh,
right now?
each to their own and all that
I
rubbish.
mean, yeah, everyone's got their opinion at the end of the day. So if that's your opinion at the end of the day, cool. But to us two personally, the best albums they have done. And I think we can end on that.
Sounds like a good place to
So,
end.
yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in to this episode. It's going to probably be a long one. I don't know how long, probably over an hour. Anyone brand new to my channel, this series, or welcome to my channel and this series. There's a lot more to do. Looking at my list, I've now gone into the early 2000s, so there you go. And I don't know why I do this, but most channels do this. Like this video, share it around, comment down below if you got anything to talk about those albums. Like, what's your opinion on these three albums right here? And most importantly, and most channels do this. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with everything that's going on my channel. And be sure, got to point this way because he's this side to me. Be sure to check out Chris on Crushing Sounds. He's got album reviews, interviews, retrospectives,
All things
tons
metal.
and all things metal like me. So I just do Metal Vault, favorite death metal albums, underground metal releases. I need to stop doing that again. And yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in. I've been Jake of Jake's Metal Chat. This has been Chris of Crushing Sounds. Keep that banner of metal held high, and I will see you all again. And hopefully another episode with this man of
Any
my
anytime, buddy.
metal vault. My metal vault.